There's an old lookout point on the far end of the island. The island itself has a bit of a tell to it. Over the ages, that tell has partially crumbled. The residents built bridges across these small islands, and on the very last one is a lighthouse. There are actually two lighthouses on the island. This one that is no longer in service, and the second one that was built on the opposite end of the island. Sometimes, the old lighthouse would be turned back on, usually used for light shows during local holidays. It's never used on any of the major holidays shared with the outside world, making the turning on of the old lighthouse a special occasion. The lighthouse hasn't turned on once since the loop began. Presumably, the local holidays, only being celebrated here, don't have strong enough spirits to break through the loop, which one might see as a shame, given that this is their home turf. Unknowingly for both girls, separately, they are making their way to the old lighthouse. Alani used to sneak out only a few times when she was smaller. She would come down to the lighthouse because her grandfather once said when the tell crumbled, before even he was born, it revealed an opening underwater that led to the secret spring. So Alani would sneak out to see if she could spy any merfolk. She never did. She always told herself that maybe the cave was so deep, she would simply never see the merfolk from the surface. She remembered the time she finally got caught by her mother. Her mother had followed her all the way to the lighthouse, wondering where she could possibly be going at her age in the middle of the night if not Sherry's. Knowing her daughter would never tell her anything, Alani had always been a quiet kid like that, she followed her daughter in secret. When Alani arrived at the old lighthouse, staring down into the waters below, her mother yelled, asking what she thought she was doing. Her mother blamed her grandfather for telling her all these old stories of the world. Alani had always assumed her mother was terrified of the world because her people didn't know magic. Alani always assumed her mother was afraid she would go chasing after these stories her grandfather told her, and she would get herself hurt or killed. For a while, her grandfather was banned from the house, and in retaliation, Alani stopped eating and refused to do any schoolwork. Her mother had to relent, but even her grandfather was concerned and became more careful of the stories he told her. The book he left her was only given to her long after he died, when she had gotten into high school. When she found out it was her grandfather's wish, and not her parents keeping it from her, she was conflicted. Alani felt like her grandfather was the only person who understood her. That's why she thought they had secrets the way they did. As for Shari, the lighthouse doesn't hold any significance to her like it does Alani. The only reason she's ever gone to the lighthouse was because she was following Alani. To her, it's just a crumbling building she always assumed City Hall would demolish one day. Of course, she's never spoken this thought around Alani. She could tell that the spot meant a lot to her. Sherry herself isn't sure when, but at some point she did start sneaking down to the lighthouse on her own. There was a time when she felt like she was constantly getting into arguments with her parents. So instead of running to Alani over every tear dropped, she just went somewhere she could be alone. No one comes out this way to the old lighthouse unless it's for the light shows. And so, this became Sherry's secret little spot as well. Alani gets there fast. It's quiet and getting late. And Alani knows, even though she's done it time and time again by now, she still has to make it home in time to either take Samson out trick-or-treating herself or walk him to a friend's house. She looks down at the waves, over the old rusted railing, and sighs. Another night with no merfolk. When she turns around, she sees Sherry awkwardly standing a few yards away. Sherry waves sheepishly and jokingly says they can't stay there too long. Samson is waiting. Alani, without any words, runs up to Shari, takes her arm in arm, and they run back to her house. After all, it is still Halloween.